We're back with our Alfa Brera, Clarkson's favourite hatchback. It needs some fixes and some modifications. Today we're at Autosportivo, we're fixing. We bought this 2007 Alfa Brera for just £1,700, with our aim being to turn it into the driver's car it should always have been at Autosportivo in Bedford. Despite being a big favourite of Clarkson's, the Brera has always been known as a letdown to drive, so it's time to change that. Sadly, however, as you'll see later in the video, this shoot doesn't exactly go to plan. These are the parts that are going to get our Brera back on the road, starting with just a general servicing kit. We've got our new windscreen wipers, and the dodgiest thing is a repair bandage for the exhaust. It's got big holes in it. Do not do that at home if you're going to drive your car for many miles. We're simply going to get it to the MOT centre and then we're going with a full custom system for our car. This stuff over here is less fixing, more upgrade, but we've got some brand new wheels, 18-inch up from the 17 inches on the car. We're gonna get some Bridgestones on there. Another failure on the MOT was a cracked spring, so we've got brand new BC Racing coilovers to go on it, and then the big Alfa Romeo trait, a rusty subframe. Ours isn't too bad, but I want it changed. That one's brand new. Let's get it on the car. Lads, I've heard some rough things about working on Italian cars, but I want pure positive vibes today. We're talking the subframe, 1 bolt, 2 bolt, 3 bolt, 4 bolt off.
That's it, yeah, basically.
Yeah, just bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
And we're not gonna crack anything off. Straight on with the gun.
Straight on with the gun, let the Roby do the job.
Before we start, I want to do a 3, 2, 1 Alpha time.
Okay.
And no shouting, just like, you know, just casual.
Chill.
We don't want to get too hyped up. You know, it's early in the morning. we got to get this done, and I want this to be a really positive experience, okay? So, okay? Let's do this. 3, 2, 1, Alpha time. Let's spray some on bolts, get this thing off.
Let's do it.
Despite every bolt on the Alfa being classically crusty, things started well with everything flying off the car nicely. But then... we bought a new subframe because it just didn't look that great. There was surface corrosion, but it hadn't gone straight through. I think we're about to discover it was a very good job we got a new subframe. This looks like some sort of like geographical formation in here. That's like 90% of a subframe.
That's bad.
Should we give it a stab? Or just thump it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
Well, super leggero.
When people talk about Brera issues, this is like #1, right?
Are you starting to believe now?
I'm starting to believe that we've still got a freaking awesome vibe going.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And this subframe's about to come off in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, 4.
Alpha. We are this close to the subframe coming out, but we've come across a pretty large hurdle. The drop links, well, the bolts are just spinning, aren't
Yeah,
they?
they're spinning in.
Now, I slagged off Taylor's car for, I mean, they weren't even...
They were chopped.
They're completely chopped.
Completely cut. There was just...
Literally doing nothing.
Just the
like,
ends were there and there was no link.
What
They
are
were
we about
Bluetooth.
to do?
Yeah, we're about to do a Taylor.
We're about to chop them, but we've got fresh ones to go on it.
Which is upgrade anyway.
Who's doing the honours and what tool are you using?
I'll give you a guess.
With another annoying hurdle overcome, we were edging closer to getting the subframe off. Look at the size of that. One step closer to heaven, baby. One step closer to you. There'll be no more living without you, baby. I'm counting each minute till I'm back to you. Job number 1, actually no, job 0.5, done. How quickly can we get that fresh subframe back up into there? Half the time?
Yeah, we just got to swap stuff over now, don't we? We've got to put all the bits on this onto there.
And I wonder how much of this subframe would be completely ruined if the oil hadn't got to it there.
Oh yeah.
Both sides would have just been absolutely mangled.
If you look at the subframe, you've got this big hole in the front there, rainwater goes in there and then sits in here. It can't go anywhere.
It is, I mean, when you do look in that chasm, I mean, it's an absolute disaster.
So it goes in here and then it just pulls in there. I don't think you can get out the back very easily. And then you've got...
So we're replacing it with this brand new one I've got off the internet. How do we stop this from happening in another 17 years' time?
Your magic seal.
Today's video is sponsored by Lanogard, and to apply this stuff, I'm gonna phone in a friend. He's quite a big deal. He was on a TV show, he was on Top Gear, and his surname begins with a C. This is happening. Ben, Alfa Romeo Brera, first thoughts, go.
Well, this is a major upgrade from the Rover. That wasn't hard, obviously, but it's a beautiful Italian car. It's great.
Thank you. Don't look at our subframe.
Yeah.
That's leaving the building.
It's holier than the Bible, that. Look at it.
A nice new one is here.
This is good. I mean, but there's a few elements that still look like they need a bit of TLC.
Yes, exactly. So first thing we're going to do is give the underbody a bit of a wire brush. It's already had a clean, but now we're just going to get any of the last few bits off before we go lano guarding. So
spot on.
Here's your wire brush.
Yes, to be used sparingly.
Here's mine.
If you trust yourself with that, that's fair play. I mean, just don't go too hard.
Get stuck in with that. Don't hurt your little wrist.
No, I won't. It's okay. You get.
You take that side. I'll take this side. We are just removing the loose, flaking dirt, rust and grime, but Lanogard can be applied over surface rust as it has a natural attraction to solid metal.
So you ready for stage 2?
I am.
All right, so we've got Lanogard motor grease. If that's for the worst affected bits, there are a few that I can see from under here.
I'm going to take the chassis corners if you want to find the other bits.
Ah, cool.
Lanogard prevents and completely stops rust developing further on a vehicle. Once all the flaky dirt and corrosion is removed from the underbody of a car, it can take between 15 and 30 minutes to apply this stuff with minimal mess. We're on to the main party piece, the moto spray, but how come I've just got the bottle? You've got the fancy job.
You've got the electric brush thing going on in it.
It's true.
It's only fair.
So, dousing the underneath of the car.
Yeah, and the great thing with this is it gets right in there between the nooks and crannies, so you can spray it through the gaps.
Yeah, you
it
get
seeps in.
Right up into those holes.
I'm getting in there.
Lanogard can be applied at any time of the year, even in winter, and it's non-perishing and non-conductive, so there's nothing to worry about it getting on rubbers, plastics or electric components. Lanogard also has a 360-degree wand that allows you to get in and protect sills and, in our case, the inside of the Brera's subframe. When it comes to surface rust, like you'll find on most cars that have spent even just a few years in Britain, Lanogard will creep, bind and bond underneath the rust, creating a barrier by hermetically sealing to the surface, stopping water and oxygen getting in and under, creating conditions that stop rust from developing. DIY, that was super easy.
Easy times, yeah. Well, it's worth spending a bit of time in this car because it's going to be a good investment for the future, I think.
Well, I mean, it's lasted 17 years, albeit with a holy subframe, but now many more years to go.
With one careful driver,
exactly.
It'll be all right.
Did you know this car has a Top Gear lap time?
I can't remember it. It was a while back, but I vaguely remember it, yeah.
I don't think it was that quick, but the whole point is Brera versus Brera, so maybe down the line we'll toss you the keys.
Bring it on. Yeah, see if I can beat my old time. Well, you're going to improve the car?
Well, that's the idea. Do you want to hang out with us? We're going to next put on some coilovers, replace these bad boys here.
Great seeing you, mate. And when it's done, however long that takes you, you let me know.
Alpha. Okay. Greg's run. Wave Ben away, maybe give him a middle finger, and crack on with some coilovers. There's something really nice about putting spanking fresh parts on a dirty car, diamonds in the rough, but we were soon about to open a whole world of Italian car pain. We've had our first failure of the day. We've had such positive vibes, and then JP, he just had to come in and just bulldoze. I mean, what is it? It's a suspension fork, is it?
Yes, it's the knuckle.
What's happened?
Tightening it up, and the cast may or may not have given way.
You
on the
broke
knuckle.
it.
He breaks everything.
You broke it.
I've heard this. I've heard you're a bit, camp.
He's just blaming me. It's basically the boss just delegating blame to someone else.
I've also heard the rules around here is if you break it, you have to buy it. So, and considering these new coilovers just gone on, the value's gone up to probably about $2,500 now. Lana guarded, bloody hell, it's a really nice motor now.
You owe Mike a 10-second car.
Is that part something that can come off a shelf or
Yes. So look, you can get it on eBay, stuff like that, so we can get a replacement.
next day?
It did say 2 days, so maybe not next day.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
So I guess the fronts are in. We can move to the back and just when that part comes, the part comes.
I do have an idea where we can get that part and possibly get it tomorrow. Someone has to drive there and get it.
With the suspension errand underway, we moved to fitting the rear BCs, but a loud twang was heard up front. Amazingly, lightning had struck twice. I can't believe it. This side is cracked too.
Yeah, it just cracked. As I moved the arm, I heard a pop.
So these suspension fork things, they're just made of old cast material.
Cast aluminium.
So when you've hammered the coilover into them, they've just not been able to expand like they should.
I don't think it's the hammering. I think they've just literally the tightening them back up, where they've been opened and closed a couple of times.
Right.
Obviously, you've had the front suspension been done before.
Yeah.
It's obviously just fatigued it and it's just given up. So
Okay.
I believe it's just old metal fatigue. Correct me if I'm wrong, Alpha people. Maybe this is my fault and JP's fault, but I think that it's just genuinely old age and metal fatigue has caused it, because they both failed in exactly the same sort of failure point, which is...
So as it stands, you and JP are going halves on this car.
No, JP broke his first, so he's going
Oh, is it
full. Yeah,
sort of, he
yeah.
gets first dibs, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I did
Well-
the wheel bearing, which is more work.
Yes, and by the way, if anyone's got any comments about us putting on these really crappy brakes back on it, we are going to upgrade these, but we've just not had a chance to buy them. So these will get through an MOT.
Yeah, they'll get through an MOT.
And we will upgrade them in the next video. But for now, to get the car roadworthy, we've kept them on. I really want to end today with all the coilovers in, even if they're
I mean, we could put
cracking the bottoms left, right, and centre. So can we do anything with this until we get...
I can put as much back
replacements?
together as possible, and
Okay.
yeah, it's on. The coilovers are in.
It started
Officially.
It started so well.
It's gonna finish well. I told you, this is typical Alfa Romeo lifestyle. You're gonna come into problems like this. It happens. I did warn you.
I'm trying to keep my energy high.
It's
I'm
fine.
trying. As with all of our recent projects, BC has sent us coilovers, and Maxwell, you're quite liking these.
Yeah, I think they're really clever. I like the fact they've got adjustable dampening, and they've also got these little extenders for the rear
Never
ones.
seen it. It's almost like a sort of telescopic type.
Yeah, I've
thing,
never
aren't
seen
they?
these before, and it's clever because you put it on top, because on the rears you would never be able to get to the actual damper adjustment. So they've put these extenders on which go into the car, so you can adjust the dampening from inside the car.
So that'll be like poking out the boot carpet,
Inside
whatever,
the boot,
and you
yeah.
just
Then you
harder
can
or
adjust.
softer.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
Clever.
Our journey to getting our Alpha back out on the road has started. We've had some successes. Thank God we found how bad that subframe was and that we've got a new one. We've had some failures. Those cracked forks are super annoying, but we've got some coming tomorrow. Time for a curry, time for sleep, and we'll be back to get this thing MOT ready. It's day 2. Can we get the Brera through an MOT? What time is it?
Alpha time!
Let's go. Before I'd got in, the guys had cracked on with servicing the Brera, changing out the fluids and filters. We had waited for the suspension knuckles to arrive, but decided to instead get the new subframe up into place and bolted back in. It's now time for the sketchiest bit of this video. This is temporary though, right? This is just to get through an MOT.
Absolutely. This is very cowboy before anyone starts screaming and shouting. This is just to get us through MOT. You're going to put a whole system on this at some point, aren't you?
Yes, we're going to go full custom.
Okay.
There are people out there that will do this to their regular car, I guess.
I'm not going to lie. I've many times on many old cars used exhaust wrapping.
It's essentially an exhaust bandage,
It
right?
is exactly what it is.
And you've very expertly cut away what was the most hellish hole in the exhaust. So we've got these two here. Which ones? We've got two holes, two bandages. Which is going on which?
Right, this one's a slightly wider one. This one we can make a sort of bandage patch over this and connect these two back together.
Yeah.
And then that one, because that one kind of flexible and flares out, it will be easier to get in this little bit here.
So you literally just wrap it around and then a Jubilee just tightens it up.
Yeah, we're going to need a couple of Jubilees on this. Okay. But we'll also put loads of exhaust paste on it just to seal it on.
Okay, so on the MOT, there were holes and they also talked about security and we were jangling this around.
Yeah.
Has something else rusted away, which means it's jangling?
I'll be honest, I haven't actually had a proper look. I kind of feel like it was literally where that hole is.
Connection.
That should be the support for it.
Okay.
I think the connection was so loose it was just flapping around. Okay. But we can get it to a point where it'll be MOT worthy until you can get the thing sorted out. It might still show an advisory, but it won't leak. That's the thing, is if it's leaking and it's secure. That's the main MOT criteria.
Okay, so as we say, a brief bit of sketch, but in the next video, there will be a full custom system going on this car and it's going to sound like an Audi Quattro. But for now, let's do some sketch. And that concludes our exhaust bodge. The MOT band is simply going to look for holes in the exhaust and if it's secure. Those holes have very nicely disappeared. I'm really impressed with this sort of webby one here. That's really cool. And it is as secure as you like. What we're not going to do is have a look at this side because this could be factory, but I reckon given a good shake, that would just decompose onto the floor. So we're gonna leave that. There's not a hole, so we're all good. I didn't enjoy that, but I kinda did. As if the cracked parts hadn't given us enough grief, another swift punch to the kidneys was well on its way.
So he's brought back the wrong ones.
Oh no.
What makes them wrong?
They're different. Are they the same width? Could they still fit?
It's this bit I'm worried about. Yeah, this hole's smaller.
It does look way narrower than the BCs.
Okay, so we've got to send JP away again.
Yeah.
I'll go pick it up because it's not too far from here. It's not too bad. It's like a half hour there, half hour back.
Yeah. Right.
But
You jump in the car, you get on the road.
right, the other one's in the boot, yeah?
We're good.
The other one's in the boot,
Okay, we're good.
but it's the left and right of that.
No biggie.
Yeah, no. Yes, right.
No biggie.
You back in a minute?
It's delayed us.
With that final kick in the nads, the Alfa had beaten us. There would be no MOT today. Our next move has been wheels and tyres. Look at these silver numbers we've gone for. These are now 18s up from the original 17s. I couldn't find a full set of the 19-inch Pro Drive wheels, but these are an awesome substitute. And we've got them shod in Bridgestone Potenza Sports. We got them fitted at the local Quick Fit. We love these tyres. We had them on our BMW M5 and Martin the Subaru, and now they're going to be on our Alfa Romeo. We haven't been able to put it through an MOT test, but if you want to find out whether it has got through the test, the guys at Autosportivo Bedford are going to film for their YouTube channel what happens over the next couple of days. Fingers crossed it gets through. I've been super proud of the work we've done. We've absolutely smashed through everything apart from those parts that cracked. So head over to their video. We'll put the link in the description to their channel and see if the Brera gets an MOT. In the next video on the DRIVETRIBE channel, we will start modifying this Brera to hopefully turn it into the car it should always have been and make Clarkson proud. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I've been Mike, and don't forget to subscribe to DriveTribe.